morning, everyone. Good morning. And good morning to everyone online joining us this morning. If you get a chance, please silence your cell phones or any electronic devices you have if you haven't done so already. My name is Doug Anderson, and I'm one of your board members for 2024. Today we have Reverend Shara, and she will be presenting. Commitment number 12, having enough of everything. And this is part of our community fall program of commitments to consciousness. We also featured music today is our wonderful Voices of Unity Choir. We welcome you back. Look forward to your presentation under the direction of Carol Roman and accompaniment by Jules Vogel. Thank you. Today is Birthday Sunday, if you remember.
And is that all you got after this? Well, I am going to bomb. I am going to birthday bomb the platform, because this isn't just any birthday Sunday. This is a birthday Sunday where our very own Carol Roman celebrated her birthday yesterday. Yes, that deserves a smattering of applause. But this is also Carol Roman's 30 years of service with Unity of Tustin. You have shared your mastery, your graciousness, and your amazing spirit with us for 30 years, generously. And on behalf of our entire community, we would like to present you with flowers and a cake, and there's a bigger cake for us all to enjoy after service. And Carol, we honor and we are so grateful for you. Yay! May your intention come true. 30 more years, right? do you want to say anything? Do you want to say a few words? Are you inspired? Okay. It was a bit of a surprise. But what we would like to say to you is, let us give Carol a warm Unity blessing. We love you. We appreciate you. We behold we love you. We bless you. We appreciate. We behold the Christ you are. Together. We love you. We bless you. We truly appreciate you, and we behold the Christ you are. Namaste. Blessings. And please, on behalf of everyone, please enjoy the large cake that will be out with hospitality in honor of Carol after service. And now, anyone who has an October birthday, please stand so we can celebrate you. And you can't stand because you're, playing piano, but we know you're part of it. And now, please stand for our congregational song, which is every year during our fall community spirit groups, we are bringing back as our congregational song, Let There Be Peace on Earth, to honor the tradition and how it lives in our soul and what's going on in our world. It is a particularly timely song to bring. So please join us for our congregational song, Let There Be Peace on Earth.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Ah, how'd that feel to sing our peace song together again? I'm feel so joyful because today's daily word is joy. My name is Nevin Valentine, and I'm one of your prayer chaplains here at Unity of Tustin, and I'm going to light the Christ candle, and then I will read the daily word. And the reason we light the Christ candle is to remind ourselves that the light of God is in each and every one of us. That Christ consciousness is in everybody. So I'd like you to feel the joy of celebrating our beloved Carol's 30-year tenure at Unity of Tustin. Feel the joy of singing the peace song together again after we haven't sung it together, I don't think, since the pandemic. And feel the joy of being together and having our beautiful choir back. Okay. So the daily word today is joy. And the scripture, or the affirmation is, I rejoice in life's simple pleasures. And the scripture is from Corinthians 29, 22. And that is, and they ate and drank before the Lord on that day with joy. Oh. Life's biggest moments, weddings, births, graduations, celebrations of all kinds, are cause for joy. But joy is also found in life's simpler pleasures, moments, the day-to-day happenings that comprise daily living. Joy is in the sunrise, in my morning prayers, in the familiar faces that I love and look forward to seeing, in the satisfaction I get from my work. It is in my favorite things and in the sweet surprises that come from trying something new and different. Joy is the comfort I find in my favorite spiritual practices and in finding God anew as I deepen in spiritual insight. However it manifests, joy is part of me, a way to feel the peace and power of God in my heart and deep in my soul. So I will say the affirmation once, and then we'll say it together with joy. So I'll say it first. I rejoice in life's simple pleasures. And together, I rejoice in life's simple pleasures. That's right, Bill. Thank you. Okay. And Shara.
Beautiful. Thank you, Nevin. What is that? And they ate and drank before the Lord on that day with great joy. I mean, we have to remember, what was Jesus' first miracle? Putting water into wine. So, from the hands of the masters, we can eat and drink with joy. And with the wonderful synchronicity, we have a new person. We have a newer person who's here for her second time, and she's sitting in front of Joy, and her name is Joy, and the daily word is joy. So let us just be abundant in this joy and welcome. We welcome you. And I am full of joy because we just had a joyful day yesterday, having a booth for the third year in a row at OC Pride. I'm wearing our shirt, and there we are at our booth, giving joy, being a source of healing and light when so many spiritual communities have been a source of pain for the LGBTQ plus community. And it was beautiful. We have an interfaith zone for the first year, and there was a beautiful area to paint, to create tiles that made a mosaic. There was a shrine for LGBTQ individuals who lost their lives because of their identity. And we had a place where people can come and receive blessings, share their story, and be in prayer. So it was a lovely, lovely experience. And I want to give a shout out to Irene, who was the fearless leader for the third year, creating the booth, making sure we're staffed, making sure we had tons of bling to bring out. And part of the joy is the joy, we talk about diversity, but what is so palpable at Pride festivals is the universal similarity we all share to express our authenticity. And if you need a dose of that medicine, go to the next Pride event near you. So in honor of that, I have t-shirt and jeans and my choir matching boots on today. And really just rejoicing in that wonderful experience. So let's bring this into prayer. Invite everyone, take a deep, joyful breath. Oh, feels good in this room, doesn't it? Yeah. And move into that place of your expression. Joy is effervescent. It is that energy that bubbles up from a source that doesn't run out. So feel yourself tapping into that, moving through your body. And then you don't have to do anything. Let the joy do your emanation. Let the joy be you embodied as an uplifting prayer, bringing your presence of hope and love and goodness wherever you go, sourced and funded by joy itself. This world can be dense, and we can be blocked from the lightness, the effervescent lightness that is always there, and we come together to be reminded. Because it is our present connectedness that reminds us of what matters most, that increases our perspective, that allows us to access a viewpoint and an altitude that we can have a very difficult time finding on our own. Now let's celebrate. Let's eat and drink before the Lord. Let's sing together. And let's love each other with great, great joy. And we release this prayer into the heart of God. And we say, thank you, thank you, thank you. Great Spirit, amen. So this is the week where we hear a transformational story from one of our community members. And we do this because sometimes we might forget what a difference we make. We might forget that our community changes lives. Certainly has changed my life. Or maybe your radical change because of unity happened so long ago that you've just kind of adapted to the new norm of transformation. And this helps remind us that the process is always renewing within ourselves and coming online in new ways for all of us, especially those who are slightly newer. And today, Holly Leo, who is our board secretary, spirit group leader, YFL liaison, and amazing human extraordinaire, has graciously agreed to share her very inspiring transformational story with us. Holly? Ask and you shall receive.
Thank you. All right, let me take a deep breath. Hello, Unity of Tustin. I'm Holly Leo. I'm our board secretary. And I'm changing this from transformational to transforming because I'm not finished yet. Story. I grew up in a Mormon family. I went to Catholic high school, and in 2005, I converted to the Catholic faith with the hope of supporting my daughter who attended Catholic school and to try to see if I could help save my failing marriage to her husband. To my husband, to her father. The marriage ended, and I never really felt like I fit in the Mormon church or the Catholic church. I'd go to the Catholic Church from time to time, but I would never call myself a very spiritual or religious person. I met my current husband in 2012. He didn't like going to church, and so we didn't go to any services. Everything in my life seemed to be going very well for a long time. Then in 2018, some big life events happened. The job I had for 20 years changed. The practice I worked at was sold, and I went from having job satisfaction and a flexible schedule to a very restrictive practice with much more work, more demands on long hours. At the same time, I had some difficult family issues. During that time, I gained 40 pounds, and I developed a skin condition called vitiligo, where you lose your pigment in patches. So I had about 3 years of this really difficult time, and I kind of didn't recognize myself. So it sent me seeking meaning. During this time, I read all sorts of books from authors including Michael Singer, Eckhart Tolle, Michael Pollan, and Brene Brown. Then, through a series of synchronistic events and 2 deeply meditative retreats, I found myself to be directed to the unity of Tustin. In one deep meditation, I heard God speak to me. 2 important things she told me were, 1, I needed to find a community of like-minded people, and 2, a sign to look for to let me know that she's with me are leaves. And I remember in my meditation saying to her, but leaves are everywhere. And she said, exactly. So in 2021, I went on a search. I thought maybe going to a class on the Course in Miracles could be my next step. Online, I found Unity of Tustin, and the times for the Course in Miracles classes didn't work for me. But I saw there was a bookstore, and I decided to drive over and take a look around. The bookstore was closed. This was 2021. And so I walked the grounds. This is where I'm trying not to cry. I felt so much peace walking around. And I looked up and I saw all the leaves. And I remember thinking, maybe I should come to Sunday service. Reverend Shara spoke at that service. And I remember her saying, today we'll be discussing the gospel of Brene Brown. And I thought, wow, that's something. And I've been coming ever since. I volunteered for Sunday supper. I joined an Adventures in Faith group. I joined the spirit groups. I volunteered in our gardens. And I eventually facilitated a spirit group. And now I'm a board member. And up here speaking to you. I feel like I belong here with all of you wonderful people. This past June, I went on another retreat for a deep meditation. I wanted to hear from God again to let me know what I'm supposed to do next. But the retreat wasn't what I was looking for. I never really was able to reach a deep state of meditation. And as I reflected in my journal, I was very disappointed. But then I had a realization. It was a Wizard of Oz moment. And I knew the message God sent me was, there's no place like home. Everything I need to continue my spiritual growth is right here at Unity of Tustin. My spiritual teachers here are here, and my spiritual family is here. How lucky are we to all have this special spiritual place to belong to? I love Unity of Tustin. I'm grateful for the spiritual center, and I'm grateful for all of you. Thank you.
Amazing, so joyful. And now I would like to end cap that with a beautiful song from our Voices of Unity choir, More Than Enough. And that was certainly more than enough. It's incredible. And it was beautiful. It was a prayer. The words were beautiful as well as the singing. So grateful. Really lovely. Feels good in here today, doesn't it? Yeah. Wow, let's own that. More than enough. And that is today's commitment. Having enough of everything. Having enough of everything. A conscious commitment. And we know this. We know that we live in a life of sufficiency. We know that there's more than enough. But I wonder if each of us could identify a thought we had this morning that was about not enough. I didn't get enough sleep last night. Always that. That's always, it's a good friend, a really good friend. I didn't have enough time to do everything I needed to do before service. Or my partner isn't moving fast enough. Insert your complaint of choice right there. And then there's even the nagging reality underneath it all, like there's not enough money, or there's not enough love, or there's not enough security, or there's not enough control. And it's fascinating. It's fascinating how easily we fall into this consciousness of scarcity and constantly holding ourselves up to an elusive standard of more, mine. But what if that's not the real challenge? We know this. We just sung this. We heard this. What if it's not about acquiring more, but to appreciate, to let grow in value what we already possess? If we pause and go inside, we can really see that this relentless pursuit of accumulation, whether it's accumulation of things, accumulation of degrees, accumulation of love, accumulation of status, we can really see that it blinds us to this deeper truth, that in this very moment we might have everything necessary to live secure, meaningful, and love-filled lives. Let's take another deep connective breath. In this now moment, this is Craig's teaching, which he teaches again and again. Does anyone remember what he says? In this now moment, what's a question he often asks? Is there anything lacking? Is there anything missing? When we bring our presence to the present, which is our alchemical way of interfacing with all of eternity, is there anything lacking? In unity, we know that God is in everything, that everything is abundant. So the truth of reality is one of sufficiency. And it is a distortion of consciousness that warps reality so that we see through the eyes of lack. Like we're creating that perspective. And this is how the 15 commitments of conscious leadership are so in line with our unity principles. They're written from the same consciousness. The authors use more secular language in order, quite honestly, to be more inclusive. But the principles are very much our principles. So for this principle, number 12, it's I commit to experiencing that I have enough of everything, including time, money, love, energy, space, resources, and so on. So that's living above the line, committing to the consciousness of enoughness. And this is connected to the commitment that went before it that we're not focusing on, which is committing to sourcing approval, control, and security from within. So they go together, right? They go together. When we source our approval, security, and control from within, we don't have to grasp outside of ourselves to be okay. And they're the two fundamental Jesus teachings that I think underpin everything. Do not cling, and the kingdom of God is at hand, is within. It is within. And when we source our life from that, we can let go of the outer need for our okayness, and we can live that commitment, having enough of everything: time, money, energy, space, resources. Now, I'll give a plug not to spiritually bypass. We can often have this idea, well, if I'm sourced from within, nothing in this world should touch me and I should never get dysregulated. Yeah, if only. Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be nice. But that's not the way it works. In fact, that was the commitment of feel your feelings. Things get stuck when they don't come to completion. If we allow the body to do what it needs to do, if we allow the feelings to do what they need to do, if we allow the emotions to do what they need to do, if we don't resist, because that's what persists, things move towards completion. You know, we have a root system of energy that is interdependent. And when we have a big loss and something's ruptured, our roots are searching for what is no longer there. And it's a very physiological experience. We need to have great compassion. No amount of recognizing God is within is going to stop a normal grieving process. But we can allow it and let go. And it can move us, it can transform us, it can continue. So we lose what we love, the rupture and trauma and loss, when we move it to completion and we don't cling and we know the God within, we can do it all. We can be sourced in God and have a full human life. But we're not attached to that. We might miss it, but we don't cling to it. And below the line, and you can see how easy it is to go from below the line if we don't have this inner resource, is I commit to a scarcity mentality, choosing to see that there is not enough for me and others in the world, and therefore I have to be conscious of making sure I get and preserve what is mine. I mean, that's the zero-sum game. If we do have a limited universe, then the only reasonable thing is to try to get as much that is mine as possible. Self-interest is the name of the game. And the authors find, of all the commitments of conscious leadership, the commitment to sufficiency rather than scarcity is one of the most challenging. Now, scarcity is almost embedded in the culture. It's almost embedded in capitalism. It's hard to extricate ourselves from this context or this construct. Remember, the reality is abundant, and it's our distortion of perception that we even have somewhat collectively that creates that distortion. But we have the power to change the systems in which we find ourselves. And our beliefs about scarcity can be about time, money, energy, health. You know, I like to say, pick your drug of choice. What's your drug of choice, and what's your drug of choice du jour? You know, because it changes. What experiences is life giving you to activate that sense of lack? You know, I don't have enough time, I don't get enough from my relationship, I don't give enough to my relationship because I don't have enough energy, because everyone wants something from me, yada, yada, yada. You know, I certainly know those spaces, not like I don't live there too often myself. But here we come to be reminded of the better way, of the more beautiful way. And they also did a term that was new for me. They talked about momentary scarcity, which now I'm going to be on the lookout for. And this is when, for example, I'm planning a hike and it's raining. And I am upset about the lack of dryness in the environment. Right? Or I'm planning a hike and it's too hot. And I'm lamenting the lack of moisture in the environment. So there's also this way that we feel our preferences should be matched by nature. And these subtle little insidious ways, we can go into that lack mentality. And I can see that happening all the time. So they reference Lynn Twist's The Soul of Money. That's a crowd favorite for lack belief. And she does a deep dive into the spiritual consciousness of money, inviting to rethink our relationship with money entirely. And for her, rather than viewing money as a source of stress, competition, or self-worth, she invites us to see money as simply energy, a tool for expressing our values and intentions in the world. So I invite you right now, take a moment and just look at your relationship with money and see it as just energy. And how do you direct that energy towards your values and deepest intentions? And where are you in alignment with that? And where might you be out of alignment with that? She writes, this mantra of not enough carries the day and becomes a kind of default setting for our thinking about everything. And this is what was new for me. And it grows into the great justification for an unfulfilled life. Like, isn't that interesting? Our lack beliefs can justify our unfulfilled life. Think of how that might work for you. It becomes the reason, she writes, we can't have what we want or be who we want to be. It becomes the reason we can't accomplish the goals we set for ourselves, the reason our dreams can't come true, or the reason other people disappoint us, the reason we compromise our integrity, give up on ourselves, or write off others. If only I had more love as a child, I could be the person I was destined to be. If only I was given this, if only I had enough of that, I could do X. We kind of have these scripts, and they're all based in this lack consciousness. So the authors are really encouraging us to look at our life and discover where each of us, as the drug of choice for today, is living that belief that we don't have enough. So take a moment and identify a place for you. Where are you in that space, or where are you using lack or not enoughness as a justification for an unfulfilled life? And just hold that in your heart, welcome it, don't push it away, and we'll have time in meditation to really work with that. So she identifies 3 toxic myths of scarcity. So you can almost see these as the myths that distort consciousness to see lack and scarcity in this infinite field of possibilities that is our reality. Her first is that there's never enough. That zero-sum game, there's only one pie, you got to get your piece. And this generates a fear that drives us to make sure we're not the ones left out. The second myth is that more is better. More is better. And more is kind of like the horizon. It doesn't matter how much we run towards it, it's always the same distance away. So it's important to think of the horizon as more like a something to admire and just see as one of many things that you can visualize, but not as something to attain. Because the primary cost of believing that more is better is that we never arrive. We're never going to get there. We can never relax into the abundance that is, into the love of God, into the mystery, even the not knowing, even the difficult times, because life is for us. That's underneath all the commitments, is life is happening by me, not to me. So even those difficult times. And the final myth is that it's just the way it is. This is reality, it's a dog-eat-dog world, it's hopeless, helpless, unequal, unfair, and we can never change or escape it. And this is one of the most challenging myths, because if we buy into it, we're less willing to even question whether that is a construct. Is it the real reality? Do we have any say-so? Where is our power? How can we be in the present moment and see things differently? We don't even get curious. It becomes the water in which we swim, just the way it is. So the insidious outcome of sourcing our approval, control, security, way of being from without us is that when we are overtaken by the never enough myths, one of the byproducts of it is comparison. And this can be comparison with another person, you know, your brother who gets to talk about his lavish Tahiti vacations when you were really excited to go to San Diego. And it really actually was a great trip. And you had a fabulous time, but you feel so small at the dinner table as your brother talks about his exotic, you know, who knows what's. It could be an abstract ideal, like you thought you could retire, but you realized that you might not be able to do so, or you thought you would have your children and grandchildren around you, but they've moved. So now you get competitive about who they spend more time with, the in-laws or you. It creates this competitiveness. And when we go into that competition, we want to make sure we don't end up with the short end of the stick, and our default becomes below the line, and we feel very justified in it because it's only fair if it happens the way that our preference wants it to happen. So then the only game in town is win-lose. Win-lose, and we're below the line. But the authors help us see and want to even emphasize that many of us can be viewed as living with much, much more than we need. I was in a workshop once, and the spiritual teacher said with great authority to a room kind of like this, he said, "Every single person in this room is more than adequately provided for." And, you know, I was kind of like, how do you know, you know? And they said it again, every single person in this room is more than adequately provided for. And it really got me. I'm like, well, what if that's true? Like, what if that's true? And then I was like, well, that's true, but one person in this room is the poorest of us all. So, you know, do they have the right to be a little resentful? You know, but who knows? We're package deals. Maybe the person who's financially poorest is because they centered their heart's desire of a life of service that just doesn't get recognized as much by our community, and they're the richest in heart and meaning and their legacy of goodness in the world. You know, I mean, the lens is so complex. So we don't know. But if we do want to look at it from a higher altitude, you know, let's look at our incomes compared to global models. There's a site online where you can put in all of your economics and find out where you stand up for the 9 billion people in the world. And I remember doing this a couple years ago, and I was like at 6%. And, you know, wow. Some of you are going to be much higher than that. Some of you are going to be a little bit lower, but we're all going to be up there. We're all adequately provided for. But even that, it's good for a little humility. It's good because that comparison level comes online, and it's nice to have a little ammunition for it, but we're still in that comparison. And what the book and the commitment is asking us to do is shift the perspective that underlies it all in the first place. That's the transformational capacity. So rather than getting bogged down by comparisons, it's better to conduct our own self-inquiry and to aspire to embody this commitment ourselves. And we're focusing on the 15 commitments of conscious leadership because we are all leaders here at Unity of Tustin. And to live above the line, all of us collectively, imagine the potentiality when we all embody the consciousness of I commit to living from the belief that I have enough of everything, including time, money, love, energy, space, resources, and so on. And if we see this, and we see this collectively, and we take that collective perspective, we can acknowledge that there is enough for all of us. There is enough food in the world for no one to go hungry. This is just a fact. This is a known, if we had the logistics, if we made that a global why of humanity, this could be solved almost instantly. But sufficiency is not comparative at all. It's actually collaborative. That is the secret sauce. It's a collective endeavor, and that can create whole new worlds. It's an experience, Lynn Twist says, an experience and context we generate, a declaration, a knowing that there is enough. And what does that mean collaboratively? Like it means going into a room, whether it's work or a meeting or something, and you're not holding your best idea to the end where the light will be on you and it'll look better. You start with everything you've got. You put it out there, and you trust that there is this process that is going to uplift the collective. We move out of that competition and into that deeper sense of collective emergence of something more than that could happen on our own. So a couple more things before we go into meditation is the other thing about enoughness is that it's subjective. It really depends on our attitude. 5 minutes of listening to Cousin Jimmy rant at Thanksgiving dinner is going to feel a whole lot longer than 5 minutes in a lovely group meditation. And that's true even if you don't like meditating. But many people can really kind of, it's important to appreciate that we're putting our lens on these things anyway. It's very subjective. So instead, consider these truths of sufficiency. Money is like water. Regardless of the flow, you direct where it goes. That's an aphorism where attention goes, energy flows. What you appreciate appreciates. This is from last week. What we appreciate has the spaciousness to grow in value. And if we really want the person we're complaining about to change, appreciate them for how they're showing up. Because if you don't, you're locking them into what you're complaining about. We have to see with spaciousness for people to have the space to show up in new ways. And collaboration creates prosperity. I mean, that's in the end, that's the message of the loaves and the fishes. It's collaboration that creates the prosperity. And from these truths of sufficiency, we affirm that here at Unity of Tustin, we are all leaders collaborating to create a prosperous, beloved community that uplifts and transforms lives, like we just heard from Holly, that I know is true for myself, and that we create that more beautiful world we know is possible. Enough? Okay, let's say that's enough because I want you to experience this inwardly. So I have found the meditations on the 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership website to be excellent. Some of them I've listened to again and again. So we are going to be blessed by a song from Carol, and then I'm going to have Tony play the meditation directly from the website. And there's a meditation for every single commitment, and they're a really powerful way to embody this and move it from head to heart to hands. Okay. Carol, when you're ready.
It is meditative. It's not going to go in many different places.
Commitment 12 of the 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership says, I commit to experiencing that I have enough of everything. Like Commitment 11, this is a commitment that addresses wanting. In Commitment 11, we looked specifically at wanting approval, control, and security, and trying to get those three fundamental wants met from the outside versus the inside. In commitment number 12, we look at the wanting of everything else. wanting money, more time, love, more space, more energy. What we're pointing at in these two commitments is that as long as we are experiencing a lack and believe that there's something out there that can fill us up, we're going to be in a threatened state and we're going to be living below the line. So commitment number 12 is about experiencing, not believing, but actually experiencing that I have enough. And the key to this commitment is that the only way to experience sufficiency is to stay in this now moment. Whenever we go out of the now moment into the future or into the past, one of the things that often occurs is a sense of lack, a sense that there's not enough. So our presencing practice for commitment number 12 is a practice to help us see through wanting and to experience the sufficiency of this now moment. This practice involves 3 questions that can be asked anytime. They're especially useful to ask when you find yourself triggered, when you find yourself a little reactive, below the line. Question number 1 is, what do I want? Question number 2, what happens when I don't get what I want? And question number 3, could I simply rest in this now moment with everything just as it is? So let's do this practice in the form of a presencing meditation. Begin by simply allowing yourself to be here now, wherever you are, seated in your office or in your den, even driving your car or walking down the street. Get here now and do this through the body. So actually take a couple of deep breaths and allow your body to settle into the chair or the couch, or even if you're walking, allow yourself to be here in the body, with each breath arriving more and more in this now moment. So as you arrive now through the breath into the body, as you allow yourself to actually be present to this now moment, I want to invite you to bring a situation or circumstance into your life that seems to be reliably causing you some upset or some stress, some difficulty, some disturbance. And as we've done before, just simply call in one situation. And as you call that in, let the videotape of the situation play in your mind. See yourself and the circumstance, and allow yourself to experience what it is you experience when you're in that sense of stress or disturbance. And all you're doing is watching the movie and having the experience. Now let's do the practice. In this circumstance or this situation that you're bringing into consciousness, what do you want? And see if you can be as simple and direct about what it is that you really want. You might say, I want more money in my bank account. I want a raise. You might say, I want more appreciation from my boss, or I want my kids to obey me. You might say, I want to be more creative, or more spiritual, or more enlightened. Just in that circumstance where you're experiencing some disturbance, what do you want? And now the second question. When you don't get what you want, what happens? Maybe something happens in your body. You get tight or anxious, or your heart rate goes up. Maybe you feel stress or anger or upset. Maybe you work hard to try to get what it is that you want. Maybe you get upset with other people who you believe are not giving you what you want or withholding what it is that you want. Whenever we want something and we are experiencing that we're not getting it or don't have it, we suffer. Now, not suffer in the way that many people use it, in a big way. Sometimes it's big, but often it's just a little suffering, a little upset, a little stress, a little anxiety, a little anger, frustration, a little longing, missing. But all that's just another word for suffering. Now, the third question. In this now moment, could you just simply rest? Rest in presence. And could you just allow everything to be as it is, including all of your wanting and all of your reaction to not having what you want? Could you just be here now? And let what is be. And simply notice what occurs as you rest in presence. Now let's do it again. Take that situation or another situation in your life where you're experiencing some disturbance, some upset, some wanting, and let it come into consciousness. And then as you do, simply ask yourself the question, what do I want? And let that come into your mind with clarity. And then ask the question, what happens when I don't get what I want? And then the third question, could I, right now, just rest in this moment and allow what is to be, including any feelings or thoughts, any wanting? Could I just let all that be just as it is, while resting in the present moment in awareness? Now, what most people report is that when they make the shift, the choice to rest as awareness, allowing whatever is to be, they experience a moment, often just begins with a moment, of peace. They experience that this now moment is sufficient. There's enough. And as we do this practice, what do I want? What happens when I don't get what I want? And then could I just rest and allow what is to be? They start to experience that there's enough, not just to believe it, but in the now moment, there's always enough. And then the practice, if you're willing, is just to extend that from 1 second to 2 seconds to 5 seconds. And also to reliably, when you're triggered, come back into presence and notice that there's actually enough. Just a trick of the mind to take us into the future or the past, to fool us into the illusion that there isn't enough. So 3 questions. What do I want? What happens when I don't get what I want? And could I just rest in this now moment and let what is be?
I invite you to take the wisdom that you received, any insights from that meditation, and Bring it back into this more outward focused present moment. Opening your eyes, wiggling your toes, stretching, maybe looking around you, reorienting back to this moment. And we extend this medicine of knowing that there is always enough to all of those on our prayer list here at Unity of Tustin and all of those in our hearts and mind. So, let's welcome back. Welcome back. Big deep breath. Oh, let it go. And now let's live it. That's you can always access that meditation online. And there's also gratitude practices, all sorts of things to cultivate that expansive seeing, that way of seeing beyond that limited focus and reconnect us to the divinity and the mystery of what matters most. And now I invite Nevin back up to the platform to help welcome our new guests today. Thank you, delightful Nevin, for your grace and your beauty and your love.
Thank you, Reverend Shara. So let's just rest in this moment, knowing that we have everything that we need. Thank you for that beautiful talk, complemented by the online meditation. That was lovely. So we'd like to welcome our new guests in person and online. We're so grateful that you've joined us today. Here at Unity of Tustin, we believe in one heart, or let me say this again. We believe in one God, one heart, many paths. And our mission is to transform lives and inspire people to make a positive difference in the world. And indeed, we do that, don't we? We are a fully inclusive community of all walks of life, and would like you to know that wherever you are on your spiritual path, we are glad, and whatever your background, we are glad you've chosen to continue your spiritual path with us. Our ushers are now coming forward. Hi, Susan. Hello. With a flower and information card, and if you are here for the first or second time and you are comfortable doing so, please raise your hand so that we can gift Joy with and one in the back, with a flower and card. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. Right back there. We invite everyone to join us after service for food and fellowship around the hospitality table, and to come and connect in the newly opened Open Door Bookstore and Welcome Center. And as always, Reiki practitioners wearing green ribbons will be available, and that's just, you just come up and they will do energy work with you. That's part of being part of this community. It's no fee, just love. And then also, our prayer chaplains wearing white ribbons are also available at the entrance to the meditation garden. Thank you, Kit, for putting the prayer box there. There's a prayer box there if you want to leave your prayer requests, and the prayer requests are in the seat backs in front of you and on the welcome table outside. All prayers are confidential, and we love to pray with you. So come on up and pray with us, please. In addition, there are prayer requests, yes, in the seat backs, and I already said all of that. There's always so much happening here at our campus of consciousness. Please make sure to check each Friday for the weekly e-newsletter, and visit the welcome table outside the door for opportunities for ongoing classes, events, and ways to serve our beloved Unity of Tustin. And now is time to receive the love offering as we share our financial gifts here at Unity of Tustin. Not for first-time people, Joy. You don't have to do it, you either. It's just we're just glad you're here. And the various electronic ways are listed in the screen and in the seat backs in front of you. And we also pass offering bags to receive in-person donations. In whatever form that you choose to give, we invite you to briefly hover your hand over the bag as you pass it along to connect with the spirit of giving. And we are grateful for your generosity and faith. And now I invite Reverend Shara back to the platform to give the the offering message and blessing.
Thank you. Yes, another way to strengthen our knowing that there's always enough is through generosity. And generosity is like a boomerang. We give it out and it always comes back. And our giving kind of signals to the universe that we are open and that we are open for more. So wherever you feel scarcity in your life, if you feel scarcity of time, give attention more to people in your lives. If you feel scarcity of money, try giving more and see what happens when we open to the flow. And I affirm with great gratitude the generosity of this community that has always been something we can count on to maintain this community that is a source of transformation for ourselves and for the world. So with great gratitude, let us affirm our love offering blessing together. Divine love as we blesses and multiplies all that we are, all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive in joy. And let us continue that joy by hearing once again our beautiful choir sing, "My God is so good to me." And so it is. Amen.
happy birthday. And God is all good, and you are all good. So thank you for joining us today. And as we close, please stand as we affirm the Power for Protection prayer. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And now go forth and know and experience that you have enough. Everything you need, you have. Blessings to you all. Amen.